we can now speak to Michelle Thomas, who's a divorce and trial lawyer and joins us from Washington. It's good to have you with us. What do you make of this decision by the court?
Well, it was definitely unexpected. I don't think any of us expected Mr. Cosby to walk free today, but the Supreme Court had to balance his constitutional rights. And the fact that Mr. Cosby waived his Fifth Amendment constitutional right against self-incrimination with the belief and expectation that criminal charges would not be brought against him. And that is what the Supreme Court focused on, is the fact that this case should never have been brought in the first place because of the deal that he entered into with the initial prosecutor. And it was inherently unfair, which is what the court focused on, fairness for the second prosecutor in 2015 to bring these charges back and to unseal the deposition transcript. And that's the crux of this issue.
How unusual is this? I mean, this is getting a lot of attention, honestly, because of the profile that Bill Cosby has. But is this unusual for a court to do something like this?
Well, it's not unusual for a Supreme Court to focus in on the constitutional issues and whether they had been violated. And in a case like this, Mr. Cosby's decision to waive his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination and then have the basis on which he waived it overturned and used against him for criminal charges, that is unusual, I believe. I don't think that's very common. So the Supreme Court had to do exactly what it did, which was balance the fact that there are certainly alleged victims in this case, and it did not reach the point of necessarily completely vindicating or addressing the actual allegations, but it focused on the Constitution, and that's what has to happen in a case like this. So, it's when a right has been violated, that is what you would expect the court to do.
And what happens around the issues in the substantive issues in the case itself? I mean, is this the end of the legal line? Is this case closed, matter over?
Well, here's the thing. Certainly the prosecution, they could file motions to reconsider. They could try to appeal the case. But given that the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania issued a 79-page opinion, which was well thought out, well articulated, the odds of the prosecution filing some sort of motion to reconsider and prevailing on it is probably pretty low. So the expectation that they're going to do that is probably pretty unlikely. So with respect to this particular case, this is probably the end of the road for the prosecution, but that remains to be seen. But as of right now, it would appear to be the end of the road. And Mr. Cosby is a free man at this time.
Okay, Michelle Thomas, joining us from Washington. Many thanks indeed.
Thank you for having me.